There are some couples in The Rookie that are universally loved within the fan base, but there are also couples that are universally hated as well. So in this video, we're going to go over 5 of the most loved couples on the show, as well as 5 of the most hated. Starting with the couple that turned the show into a viral sensation, Tim Bradford and Lucy Chen, also known as Chenford. In the pilot episode of the show, Lucy, a rookie, gets paired up with her training officer, Tim Bradford. In the early seasons, Tim was very aggressive and strict, while Lucy was the opposite. Watching these two interact during season 1 and the beginning of season 2, you would feel like they would hate each other and could never picture them being friends, let alone dating. But over the course of 5 seasons, after both going through traumatic events that brought them closer together, what started out as a professional relationship turned into more, eventually leading them to admit their feelings for each other in season 5, episode 8, The Collar. The 5-season slow burn is one of the reasons why fans love the couple so much, because their intense chemistry was obvious even when they were just friends in both and other relationships. At the beginning of Tim and Lucy's relationship, they were already facing problems, as Tim was a sergeant with a higher rank and Lucy was a P2, which created a power imbalance. Because of the strain that this was putting on their potential relationship, Tim eventually transferred to Metro to avoid being in her chain of command, because Lucy was able to move around a bunch of people. This sacrifice made fans even more obsessed with the ship because it showed Tim's dedication to Lucy, that he was willing to transfer from the job that he loved if that meant that they could be together. Their relationship really made the show as popular as it is today, as Chenford edits started to go viral on TikTok, some of them racking up millions of views. It makes sense that once Lucy and Tim finally got together, fans went crazy because we were starting to wonder if it was ever going to happen. For years, we would get teased by the writers hinting at the possibility of Tim and Lucy being more than friends in the future, but it was always redacted in some way. In season 3, episode 9, Lucy tells Tim she has feelings for him, but in the end, it turns out that she was just pranking him. This put the idea in fans' heads that there was a possibility, since Tim technically didn't decline nor reciprocate those feelings towards her. And in season 4, episode 22, Day in the Hole, they kissed as preparation for an undercover mission where they had to act like they were a couple. You could tell that this kiss meant more to both of them, but they wouldn't express their feelings until much later. Although the wait wasn't unnecessarily long, the buildup of their relationship is eventually what made them getting together much more satisfying, until they broke up in season 6, episode 6, Secrets and Lies. Ever since the breakup, we are back on the writer's teeter-totter of will they get back together or won't they, until season 8 comes out. On the flip side, before Chenford took over the fandom, Lucy had another relationship at the very beginning of the show with none other than fellow rookie John Nolan. And this is one of the most hated relationships in the entire show. This relationship was short-lived, starting in the pilot episode only for them to break up in season 1, episode 4, The Switch. During the couple's brief relationship, they left a lasting impression on fans and are hated for many reasons. The main one being the large 18-year age gap between the two of them. Nolan being 46 and starting his life over in the pilot, as well as Lucy being in her late 20s. The two never seemed like they belonged together, as they were both in very different stages of their lives. Their relationship also felt forced, like they were just together because there was no one else around. Early on, the age difference started to impact their relationship. When John's training officer, Talia Bishop, found out about the two, she warned Lucy that dating him would brand her and damage her reputation, and she would not be taken seriously, even though there was no power imbalance. This is interesting considering in later seasons, when Lucy dates Tim, the whole branding scenario is never brought up again. That double standard, though, went unnoticed, as fans preferred Lucy to be with Tim rather than Nolan anyways, because her relationship with Nolan is seen as boring and stale, whereas the grumpy sunshine dynamic between her and Tim creates a more interesting story. What's even more interesting is that as far as we know, the only people who know about Lucy's relationship with Nolan are his T.O. Bishop and later on Jackson. But the secret seems to die with him, as it's almost non-existent within the show that they dated. So it begs the question, how would Tim react if he ever found out about Lucy and Nolan? Hopefully we find out someday. While Nolan and Lucy didn't last long, a loved couple that's been together since season 1 as well is Angela Lopez and Wesley Evers. In season 1, episode 10, Flesh and Blood, Angela and Wesley first meet when Angela is helping Wesley catch a man who had stolen his briefcase.
Stop that guy, he's getting away.
Let go of me.
Calm down.
Calm down. I was just chasing the guy that stole my briefcase. You're supposed to identify yourself before you engage a suspect.
Do you want to file a report on your briefcase or keep telling me how to do my job?
However, when Angela caught him, Wesley didn't approve of how she took the suspect down, sparking a heated argument between the two of them. This interaction perfectly captured their chemistry and contrasting personalities, clearly hinting at romantic tension behind the surface. Later in the episode, Wesley asks Angela out on a date, starting what would become one of the most consistent and beloved relationships on The Rookie. Over the seasons, we see both characters fight through real challenges due to their jobs, like when Wesley lied and worked for Elijah Stone, or when La Fiera kidnapped Angela to Guatemala. Their traumatic experiences often brought them closer together instead of tearing them apart, which is one of the reasons why the couple is among the healthiest on the show. Even within the midst of the chaos and trauma from their jobs, their relationship never loses its spark, in part due to Angela's fiery personality that often clashes with Wesley's calm, by-the-book demeanor. Angela also never shies away from cracking jokes about Wesley's rich family or his trust fund, which ensures that there's never a dull moment with these two in the room. More importantly, beneath all the humor lies a deep devotion to one another. Angela and Wesley would do anything for each other, and that is especially demonstrated when Wesley willingly put his own life at risk to save Angela after she was kidnapped by the Guatemalan cartel. That moment proved how fearless they are when it comes to protecting one another. Even after everything, they are now married with 2 kids. So I think it's safe to say that they make one badass duo, and it's easy to see why they are one of the most loved characters on the show. But yet, despite having a beautiful and consistent love story, Angela and Wesley don't get the spotlight that they deserve, and are frequently overshadowed by the viral pairing of Chenford. It's also not uncommon to go multiple episodes without seeing any Lopez scenes at all. This is frustrating for fans who followed Lopez since the beginning, just to see them be underutilized since Tim and Lucy became a thing. Now, where Wesley and Angela's relationship has been the most consistent, Nyla and James' relationship has been a drama-filled roller coaster. James and Nyla as a couple are often hated within the fanbase, mostly because of their constant fighting and lack of communication due to their careers. The pair first meet in season 3, episode 2, Injustice, at James Community Center, where he's working to correct the justice system and push for police reform. This naturally creates tension in their relationship since Nyla is an LAPD officer, and James is often very critical of the exact system that she works in. Even with their conflicting morals, James decided to not only date, but willingly marry a cop. And as if their conflicting careers wasn't enough reason to dislike the couple, James is controversial enough on his own. His constant criticism of the police, while valid at times, often comes across as closed-minded, as he almost refuses to acknowledge any of the good work police officers do, completely undermining Nyla's work and the good that she's done as an officer. To make matters worse, their relationship felt rushed and moved way too fast as they got pregnant, married, with no real proposal by the way, and moved in together all within a short period of time without addressing their underlying issues. It almost feels like they thought if they just pushed forward and got married, their problems would be resolved. But even into season 7, they continue to argue about the same things. So we'll just have to wait until season 8 to see where they stand. And although it's clear that they love each other and are willing to make sacrifices, like Nyla getting into police reform specifically to please James, it's hard to see them lasting due to their differences. So while their relationship is filled with conflict and tension, you could say the complete opposite for Wade and Luna. They are one of the most loved couples on The Rookie because of their wholesome and loving moments that are not often seen in the show's other couples amidst all the chaos. A great example of this would be in season 4, episode 21, Mother's Day.
And voila.
You bought me a horse.
No, riding lessons.
Wade gives Luna horseback riding lessons as a meaningful gift on Mother's Day. This is especially a sweet gesture as it's something to take their mind off the fact that their daughter just left home for college. Luna has also been very thoughtful in their marriage as she has continued to be supportive of Wade's decision to keep working in the LAPD even though she'd prefer he retire. What makes the couple even more lovable is that Luna is seen as the happiest character on the show, and her positive attitude often reflects on their marriage. Despite whatever situation she's in, she continues to be optimistic, like in Season 3, Episode 4, Sabotage, when Nolan's mom Evelyn scammed her out of a CBD oil business deal, or in Season 5, Episode 9, Take Back, when her daughter was missing. Even throughout all of that, she stayed calm and optimistic, so it's easy to see why she's seen as the happiest character in the entire show. What also sets Wade and Luna apart from the other couples is that their relationship did not develop on screen, and they are the only couple involving a main character that has been together since the start of the show. In Season 4, it's actually mentioned that they've already been married for 25 years at that point, which definitely predates the show if you didn't know that. Just the fact that they've been together that long with no on-screen drama, it's easy to see that they are the healthiest relationship on the show. In comparison though, Selena and Raj are one of the most hated as well as the newest couple on the show. Though Selena has been recurring in the show since Season 5, Raj was first introduced as a nameless one-off gag character when Nolan and Selena responded to a call and found him singing the show's now iconic song, Daddy Cop. And then he was found again in Season 6, Episode 2, The Hammer. Raj was later given a recurring role as Selena's boyfriend in Season 7, Episode 10, Chaos Agent. Fans were not fond of his more significant role in the show, but it had little to do with the character and more about the actor himself. Much of the backlash stemmed from the belief that nepotism is what led the actor to becoming a recurring character, rather than talent, since Xander Hawley, who plays Raj, is the son of the show's creator, Alexi Hawley. The nepotism is specifically believable since his character's acting often falls flat compared to the rest of the cast. His relationship with Selena is also similar, as they only seem to crack jokes and are rarely affectionate with one another. This makes sense since all Raj has proven to be so far is the comedic relief character. In comparison, a ship with Selena that seems to have more potential is her and Aaron Thorson. Aaron first appeared as a new rookie in Season 4, Episode 2, 5 Minutes. Later, the two became close friends who bonded over the game Dungeons & Dragons. The two got even closer after they were attacked by a group of masked men, during which Aaron was shot. This led Aaron to kiss and develop feelings for Selena due to the trauma they both experienced. Although Selena did not reciprocate those feelings and their relationship remained platonic, the chemistry was there between the two, unlike with Selena and Raj. However, there was amazing chemistry between another couple, Nolan and Grace. Grace first appeared in Season 2, Episode 2, The Night General, when she and Nolan run into each other at Shaw Memorial Hospital, after not seeing each other for over 20 years. It's clear that they had a lot of chemistry with each other. Later in the episode, it's revealed that Nolan met Grace during his junior year of college when he and his now ex-wife Sarah were broken up. Turns out that he and Grace were in a serious relationship, but it was cut short. Sarah showed up at Nolan's dorm with the news that she was pregnant, and Nolan broke up with Grace shortly after leaving her a note and then disappearing, which she still seemed to be upset by. And I definitely do not blame her for that. So it's easy to say that they fit the exact definition of the one that got away. At the end of the episode, we learn that Grace is married and has an 8-year-old son, but that is later redacted as she tells Nolan that she and her husband, Simon, have been separated for over a year. Eventually, this leads them to go on a date and rekindle their relationship. One of the reasons that made the couple work so well is they had a lot of life experience in common, both having had kids, gotten divorced, and moving to Los Angeles pretty recently. Nolan and Grace were also both emotionally mature within their relationship, as even though Grace had a lingering grudge towards him from their initial breakup, she was able to put that aside and decided to try being friends with him despite that. In addition to that, Nolan was very patient with Grace when she was contemplating fixing things with her husband in Season 2, Episode 18, Under the Gun. This was very sad considering how loved the couple was, as Nolan practically begged her not to go back to her husband, but sadly, they broke up in the same episode. While Nolan and Grace had a mature relationship and eventually broke up, the same cannot be said for Lucy and Chris, as they ended up being one of the most hated pairings in the show, and it wasn't even really their fault. Lucy and Chris first met in Season 4, Episode 10, Heartbeat, when they started arguing due to opposing views on prosecuting a drug dealer. Their relationship officially starts when Tim sets up a double date with him, his girlfriend Ashley, Chris, and Lucy. Lucy and Chris's relationship, as well as Tim and Ashley's, were seen as the last hurdle to finally getting Tim and Lucy together, as neither of these relationships felt genuine and were both in the way of what was actually meant to be, which was Chenford. From early on in their relationship, Chris often came off as emotionally tone deaf and on multiple occasions failed to notice Lucy's hesitation about moving forward with their relationship. And at one point, he even referred to her as his girlfriend before she even agreed to that label. So there was no surprise when he repeatedly rushed their relationship, particularly when he suddenly brought up the idea of buying a house together and impulsively started to look at listings without any prior discussion, automatically assuming that they were on the same page when they weren't. One of Chris's most criticized moments is when Lucy and Chris were making coffee while taking a break from trial prep. Chris casually started to hum Dream a Little Dream of Me.
Yep.
I'm so sorry.
The song was stuck in your head because you've seen the video.
Well, yeah.
Which is the song that Lucy had sung when she was buried alive during her kidnapping. Even though he had been watching the Barrel video while prepping for trial, the fact that he could casually hum the song associated with the most traumatic event in his girlfriend's life shows how completely unaware and insensitive he truly is. The couple finally broke up in season 5, episode 9, Take Back. As in the previous episode, Lucy and Tim finally admitted their feelings for each other, which is something fans have been waiting for many seasons. Now, before we get on to our final most hated couple, let's rapid fire two of the most loved couples who are not always in the spotlight, but are just as lovable as the others, starting with Pete and Chastity. Nolan's half-brother Pete, as well as Chastity, first appear in season 2, episode 13, Follow-Up Day, when Pete meets Chastity outside the Mid-Wilshire station. These two instantly hit it off and began dating. Even though they've only appeared in 3 episodes together, their chaotic energy is always entertaining. During their rare appearances, something wild always seems to happen, whether that be stealing Nolan's car or having a pregnancy scare. Although despite their limited screen time, Pete and Chastity are comedic gold, and every time they show up, it's guaranteed to be hilarious and pure chaos. The couple's last on-screen appearance together was in season 4, episode 22, Day in the Hole. Chastity, however, has appeared in 2 more episodes without Pete, even though he was mentioned. There always seemed to be an excuse for his absence. Since Pete hasn't been in any episodes in the past 3 seasons, fans are wondering if he'll ever make a return. Another loved couple who hasn't been seen since season 4 is Elroy and Nell. Elroy, an awkward crime scene cleaner, was first introduced in season 2, episode 8, Cleanup, when he met Nolan at a crime scene. Despite Elroy's high-strung personality, he and Nolan formed a genuine friendship. Wanting to help his new friend, Nolan introduced Elroy to Nell, a Mid-Wilshire dispatcher that he had a crush on but had only spoken to over the phone. Their initial interactions were adorably awkward, but things quietly developed off-screen. In season 4, episode 22, Day in the Hole, once again, it's revealed that Elroy and Nell have been dating and traveling together for some time. Although the couple hasn't been seen since season 4, their cute, nerdy dynamic makes them not only a fan favorite, but one of the cutest and most wholesome couples in the show. While these two have quietly earned a place in fans' hearts, the same cannot be said for the next couple we are covering today, Nolan and Bailey. Their relationship begins in season 3, episode 14, Threshold, when Bailey, who is only wearing a towel, knocks on Nolan's door, explaining that she got locked out of his house that she's dog sitting at.
Hello!
Hi, I'm sorry to bother you. I'm dog sitting for your neighbors and I kind of locked myself out. Thank God, yes.
Nolan then lends her the spare key and one of his hoodies, and in the same scene, they plan a date for later that night. Just by their initial interaction, it was obvious that Bailey was going to be Nolan's new love interest, but the chemistry just was never there between the two of them. Although they often express their love for each other, there's very little emotional depth between them. Their relationship also faced major problems early on when it was revealed that Bailey was in an abusive relationship with her husband Jason, and she did not tell Nolan about this. While most viewers sympathize with their fear, this is when fans started to be hesitant about her character, as Bailey started to become a controversial character all on her own. Despite her impressive background as a firefighter and in the Army Reserve, her character felt underdeveloped and was mostly defined by her relationship with Nolan, as well as all of her characteristics, as well as all of the talents that she's seemingly able to do. One of the biggest turning points in fan perception came during the Malvado storyline, when Bailey gaslit Nolan and expected him to overlook the fact that she gave a hitman his ex-husband's location and basically was an accessory to murder. Rather than acknowledging how serious this was, she tried to shift the blame and make Nolan feel guilty for being upset. And she expected him to prioritize their relationship over his duties as a police officer. Considering the whole show, compared to his past relationships, Bailey just didn't stack up, as Nolan's dynamic with his other relationships had much more chemistry. Grace, Jessica, Lucy, okay, Bailey's better than Lucy, but still, their relationship lacked emotional depth and realism. What's even more surprising is that for some reason, nowadays people are starting to ship Nolan with Tim's sister, Jennifer, who he's only done a few scenes with. People claim that they have even more chemistry than Bailey and Nolan do, which I'll be honest, I don't see, but you gotta let me know in the comments if you guys see it. Even though Nolan and Bailey did end up getting married in season 6, episode 2, The Hammer, and recently in season 7 have been trying to adopt, the couple doesn't quite seem to hit the mark with fans, along with all the other most hated couples on this list. Those are all the most loved and most hated couples on The Rookie. Make sure to subscribe and leave a like if you want to see more videos like this one. Thanks for watching.